Okay, so I am back for part 7 of this model to hopefully complete it this time. So we issue there with the wiring. So not my fault. Well, didn't spot it. So some of these connectors had different configurations, so the wires, the polarities basically around the wrong way. So I'll have to fix that in a minute. Oh dear. So round 2 here. Round 2. There's another way I could fix this. There's another way I could fix this without interfering with the wires. No, I'm not going to do that. So round 2 here, we're going to get started again now that we've figured this out. Where did my flux go? Hey. So I'm just going to put the wires back on the exact same way I had them, only I'm going to fix these here. I'm hoping that the wee torch, the wee PCB board is okay. Hopefully there's a diode there or something to protect it, the reverse polarity. So as I mentioned, this is my second box of these little jumper wires that come with the plugs on them. So if I get a male plug and I get a female plug out of the box here, and I plug them into each other, they line up so the polarities match. But I did, I didn't remember, but I had this problem a long time ago. So the very first jumper harnesses that I bought, the polarity on the plug, if we look at this one, was running the wrong way. So I wish I spotted that before I took the wires off the torch and all, but there's not much I can do now. We're just going to have to put them back on here. So we're going to go ahead again anyway. Who cares? Well, we're going to get her sorted here. One way or another. If I have to bring out the other torch. Hopefully not. So we're going to solder this black wire now back onto the same position. I drilled out the hole, very small. I think it's about 0.3 of a mil. So this is very footery here to try and get this right. Very, very small work. So I'll bring this up closer so you can get a closer look here of what I'm doing. In fact, I'm just going to take a wee bit of solder off this roll. And where's my flux? So, what's the spot on it earlier, but I didn't. Just means I have to rewire those in a minute. Just don't know why they don't keep them the same, because the plugs are identical fitment wise. Looking for the flat button on this tip here. Tape hold, please. So hopefully that's it. Don't want to put too much heat on this. So the gluing went very well until we ran into that problem there. So I'm praying that the wee torch is okay here. So that's that now. So what I need to do now is I need to go back and put this positive wire on. I'll just zoom out a minute to show what I'm doing. So I'm going to set these aside. Never worry about that now. We're just going to continue on. So what I want to do is the exact same thing again, but I want this wire. We don't want it too long. So if you can imagine now this light in position, when I bend this round, I want this wire, the two curves, I don't want one longer than the other. So I'm just going to trim a wee bit off it here. Maybe about 5 mil. We'll get a look at it here. Another wee titty bit, 3 mil or so. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to strip a wee bit back here. And I'm going to solder it first. So we'll do it on top of this box. You know what? I'll do it on top of a bit of white paper because you might be able to see better. So I'm hoping that the wee torch is okay because, as I say, it was like placing the batteries in the torch the wrong way around. And the wires were on the right way, but the jumper harnesses were different configurations. So we're going to place a wee bit of solder on this. Good wee bit. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a bit of masking tape again. And I'm going to tape this wire into position. But before I do that, I'm going to place a wee bend on it at approximately 90 degrees. So as I mentioned before, the first time I done this, I removed this plastic part and I soldered onto the end of the wire. But this time I'm not doing it that way because the Dremel's outside and it's a wee bit of work. So we're just going to kink this over now, 90 degrees. But we're going to leave the PVC, the insulator of the part of the wire, up. So we have a wee bit of protection there between the board. And I'm going to solder now onto this pin, the very fine pin here. Hopefully it goes as well as the last time. Well, it's actually going better this time. So let's keep our lift here. I'll not speak too soon. And hopefully you can hear me because I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. So the tape's in position. I'm just going to set the wire to where I want it. I'm going to cramp it against the PCB. But not too high because we need to get in with the soldering iron here. So bear with me a minute, I set this up. Oh, get in there by you. Right, so what I'll do is I'll do this. And then I'll move the wire. Well, that's about too high, hold on. Like that. And then I can reposition the wire now, hopefully. But I want it a wee bit prouder than the board here because I'm going to actually bend it past 90 a wee bit. And I'm going to bring it down. So this time, I might need to add another wee bit of tape to the bottom there. Keep the wire from turning on me. So there we go. We'll just turn this now. We'll go on here, these side colours. It's footy work now, mind you. Pull this down. Come on, you boy. Or what I could do is I could bend this wire down till we meet the top. There we go. Right, let's get this taped to the box here. Just for the demonstration here. There, can you see there now? I'll bring the phone up nice and close for us. So that's as close as I can get it, is it? Yeah. Right. Round 2. So here we go. Don't want to put too much heat in this now. Wait for the solder end to heat. See while the actually shuts down after a wee while. So do the 2 different kinds of jumper harnesses here, and I didn't realise the polarity was mixed up on them, and that's why the power supply was working and the battery pack wasn't working. So here we go. I'm going to try and get on here nice and neat. I'll put a wee bit of flux on here first, so everything runs nice and smooth. Wee bit. I loaded it with flux. So here we go. So small, eh? Maybe blocking the camera there, but not much I can do. Not sure if that's on or not. Good luck. What do I see? What do I see? Can't see him doing. Let's see if the light's up full pelt here. Scalpel now, just to check. I don't think it's. Yeah, right. Where's that holder at? Let's see here. So as I say, it's really footery here. Bear with me a minute. I want this right. I don't want to mess up here. It's not taking it all, is it? It's just not taking this time. I'm going to move it over a wee bit there. Watch now, I maybe done it the other way, the way I done it from the start. See, it's not taking it. Is that it now? I might have to put her down the side here. That's it, but I want it a wee bit better, not like. I'll try it this way instead. Nah, it's no good. Just because it's so small. Might go out get the Dremel. If I bring the Dremel into the house, I might have to do that. It might work better this time. What do we see now? So I'm trying to keep the bit of the wire above the PCB board. I want the PVC coating of the wire even. Let's try this without the tape. Right, that's it this time, perfect. Finally got there. So nice strong wee bit of solder around the wire. We've got the wire. When I get the scalpel. So I don't know why it looks very dark. When I open these blinds. So I'll just show this up close to what I'm doing there, what I was trying to do. So rather than having the wire coming on and sort of hitting the end of the board, remember the board has a copper track around the outside. So I'm trying to connect to this positive part and the positive part only. So I'm just going to get a wee juke at it here. So I think it's okay. I'm going to get the multimeter. No point. I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to raise it a wee bit here. So that's it, strong anyway. So let's hope it works this time. So what I'm going to do here is I need to fix these packs, right? Because not because I done anything wrong. I have these matched, but I need to switch them because the connectors are different breeds here, the jumper harnesses. So it's a lot to discuss here, so I'm just going to keep her lit because I still have to put the model together. When I get the power supply and still double check this that it's working. What I might do is I might just finish this power supply and then we'll use the power supply and we'll fix the battery pack some other time. I'm just praying that the wee torch is okay now because I kept the connectors on for about, I don't know, 5 seconds. And hopefully the diodes, the safety diodes there, so it doesn't blow up the board or anything. So it's either finish this now. I might just do the power supply later and I might just fix these first to check this. Or what I could do is I have one of these out here with the tabs cut off it so I can just switch the plug around for the meantime. But I get it, it's out in the room here. So here is the other one, right? So what I have done to this one is I've cut the plug or the little tab off it. so I can reverse the polarity here. So what do we see if we get it the right way around first? Right, first thing I want to do is, what do we see? No, I'm confusing things. I'll just fix one of these. So we're just going to cut it in the middle here, right? Right, so we'll put that back together. We'll set this one over here. Okay, so what I need to do now is I need to reverse the polarities just. I'll try and use these again without going for a new jumper harness. So, as I say, the only reason that it needs switched is because we're using different jumper harness but the same plugs. So when I got the shrink wrap ready here, so we don't need that. We don't need the torch either, so we'll put that away on the road. Do that later. Right. So here we go. Where's my strippers? So I'm just going to maybe peel back about 5mm here. These strippers are a bit coarse for these fine wire, but it's a good set, so they're not digging into the copper. They're not weakening or making the copper brittle. They auto-adjusting to the thickness of the wire, so we're not putting too much pressure in the copper. That's actually like a silver coated stuff here. So anyway, we're going to continue. We need the right shrink wrap here now, so what do we see what I've got? Red for thickness here. Maybe too thick, we'll go with this fine black maybe. No, we'll stick to red. So what I'm going to do here is just going to cut this in half first. And I'm going to give these a wee twist. Slide that onto there. And I'll put this one on here. Next thing I need to do now is another bit of shrink wrap to go over those two. So I've only got blue, the right thickness. Well, oh no, hold on. I have black. So I'm going to place this. I'm not going to put the full length of it on because it'll make the wire too rigid. If that makes sense. I want to try and keep it flexible. So if you can imagine when I shrink this, that's going to be quite rigid, over 2 inches. So what I need to do now to solve the issue that we had, and hoping that the torch is okay, the PCB board, because it's very delicate, as you can see, very small microelectronics on it. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to twist the red to the black. We're going to switch things up. Hopefully it works this way. Not going to work this way. My fingers are too clumsy. With that heats. The wee fishies don't know what's going on here. The yellow whale, right? Let this heats, that's it. Try and keep it as flat as possible here. There we go. Hopefully I've got the shrink wrap on, have I? Yeah, the red stuff there. So what I like to do here when I have this done like this is just give it a wee straighten. Make sure all the bits of wire are nice and neat. And we'll just pull that over the top of it. Okay. I'm gonna turn the heat gun on here a minute. You know what? I'll do that in a minute, right? We'll just solder this other wire first. So black to red and red to black, and hopefully this works soon. That I'm not going to hold. So I could cut these out to about 10mm. Would make life easier, but I like keeping them nice and tight. Nice and short even. It's not going to work out too well but for this video, so I might just have to extend it a wee bit. There we go. So hopefully that's alright. Wait for this thing to heat again. See it's shutting down. Now again, I'm just going to get the pliers and give it a wee straighten once it cools. Hopefully they're roughly the same length there now, look, if I go like this, which they are. So we'll bring this over the top of them there now, and we'll give them a wee shrink. Just going to cut the end of the shrink wrap nice and clean here. It's a wee bit, there's a wee bit on it there. There we go. Make sure we're in the centre, or thereabouts. Making sure not to shrink the black button in the end, so we're going to point the heat over towards the model. So when I squeeze those bits of wire, it sort of just made sure there was no jagged edges. We don't want them jagging through the shrink wrap because it would short the batteries out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this black bit over the top of these, and if you look now, nobody could tell that the polarity's mixed up here. Well, who's going to be looking at it? So I'm going to plug this into the torch now, and I pray that the torch works. Because as I say, because of this little mess up, the torches are very delicate. And they're very fragile even. They're very sensitive. Right, so here we go. Let's try this now, and hopefully this works, right? So we got the thing glued in live stream part 7, and then we had that handle. Now, if this sticker is red, it means that it's okay. It doesn't flicker. There's no batteries on it, Jeffrey. Jeffrey. My hair's a wee bit, as you can tell. Don't forget to like and subscribe, people. Really appreciate it. Really, took me out of work for a live stream, to be honest. So let's go, this light should flicker now, and if it doesn't flicker, it means there's something wrong. Oh, lovely, lovely. So if I push this now, it should work. Look at that. So what I need to do now, people, I'm scared, I'm not even going to lie. I'm scared in case it doesn't last now, but it should. If it's working now, it's okay, you know what I mean? Just forget about it. And move on, Jeffrey. It's the way my head works. So if I now, I need to learn to forget about things. So if I place this torch now into position, right? Look at that. Look at the wee fishies. So I'm going to line it up with, hopefully you can see what I'm doing there, but I'll turn this around, sorry. So what I need to do now is I need to line this little Larry torch up. I'm filling it here just to make sure it's not hot. Make sure that I didn't damage the circuit, so it's okay. So I need to now, see this little pin that I have modified, manufactured and placed into the model. I need to use that bit of stainless to operate the switch, okay? You can have the model on full brightness, you can have the model on dim, or you can have the model on red. Obviously, that'll be full brightness, maybe. So, I'm just going to keep this on a wee minute to make sure the wee torch is okay before going further, because as I say, as you know, if you've been watching the earlier live stream, that the torch didn't work when I wired it up the first time, but it wasn't nothing down to the wiring on the wee board here. It was down to the actual configuration of these jumper harnesses. There were two different kinds that I was using, and I didn't realise. So, will not be long now to have this finished and up our feet here. But I do want to point out here, at the minute, that thing is sitting on the lowest bright setting. That is the highest setting, so it's obviously the maximum brightness. So this power supply on the floor here, plugged into the mains, is also 4.5 volts. It also has a setting of 5 volts. I could risk taking the actual torch up to 5 volts for a little bit extra brightness here, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. Before I was using 5 volt power supplies, one of them failed and it went to 10 volts and the torch was damaged, and to be honest, it sort of, a wee bit of heat came off it onto the model. So this time I'm using a really a branded power supply, not a phone charger or something like that. So I have my little cut in the resin model here. The torch is looking okay. So my next step now, I'm going to just turn this off. For the video here, I'm going to finish off wiring this up too when I'm at it. So you can see there, the light really goes through the fish, and it looks beautiful when you have it up on its end, up where it's meant to be. I do want to point out, there's a stainless plate that goes on the bottom of it here, and that stainless plate is polished into a mirror finish. So you can see the little fish when the light's on, you can see all the fish sort of doubling up. So twice the number of fish because of the mirror finish. If that makes sense, hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say there. So I'm going to clean this bench and then we're going to get this thing on the road. We're going to get it finished today in the next hour or less. Then you will see it up on its feet. So wasn't expecting the wee issue there, but we got there in the end. So the first thing I'm going to do here now is going to plug us out, pack out. We know the wee torch is working as it should. This little switch on the little Larry torch. So there's the position that used to be in. This bit of rubber, you push this to the top of the torch to control the circuit. But if you look at this torch now, do you see the way the circuit's sort of bending down? It's like less than 90 degrees. It's not perpendicular. It should be sort of perpendicular. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to support that by putting a bit of glue behind it here. So if you imagine, if I push this pin, or say somebody comes along that's ignorant and pushes the pin in the model too far, you can only push it in, well, you can push it on a braid bit. I thought you could only move it a mil. So you can push it on 3 mil, right? But you only need it to move in a mil. But say you got somebody ignorant here and they went up and pushed it 2 mil more, they're going to bend this board back. So I need to be sure when I tape this to the model that I support the circuit board against the model with hot glue, okay? So first thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to put this into position. I'm going to put double-sided tape on it rather than glue it. I'm doing things different from the way I've done it before. So let me get the tape here. So I'm using 3M tape. We need a bit of IPA because we need this clean. We need it strong. We don't want it to break off. As I say, it's going to be supported with glue, but we don't need that little Larry torch no more. We're going to just clean this end of this diffuser on the torch where I have it all supported and glued into position. So now I can add a really strong adhesive tape, 3M brand. So we're going to stick it into position. So we're just going to get this here, we're going to put it on, and then we're going to cut around it. So this here's the really thin stuff. I don't want to cut too much of it because I don't want to waste it. It's actually super strong. So once this is stuck on, I'm going to, well, I need to position it first. I need to make sure that it's sort of square with the actual model. And I also need to make sure that it's far enough over or sitting snug to the little bar here that I have manufactured and placed into the resin base. Don't forget to like and subscribe, people. I really appreciate it. So we have this little bit of tape, right? I'm going to try and get it lined up as best as I can to the back here. And I'm going to use this front edge to cut it, hopefully. So there we go. We have that on, right? I'm going to put it down this bit of paper, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to track the bench that's standing there. Put it on a minute to have something else here. We have this, the proper cutting board. So, I also need to place a wee bit of glue here first before I put it onto the model because I need a wee bit of support on that wire. Because the positive wire here, do you see the way I've got it tilted up and down so that we're sort of going into the pin and we're not lying across the board to short it out. Need to just put a wee bit of glue in there to keep that wire from ever moving. So the the hot glue gun is currently off. Just let it heat up a wee minute. I'll cut this first, sure. So I've got a knife or scalpel. What do I see what we can use here? Where's the scalpel at? I've that many tools lying around here. So we'll use the scalpel for now, and then we'll position it, okay? So this is a little Larry torch, and I have modified it for this little model. The last one blew up because the transformer doubled in voltage. I think a voltage regulator failed within it. So we're just going to track this now down here. Nice and neat. Try not to scratch the diffuser. Did that cut or didn't it cut? Looks like it cut. We'll go again. I think it's just the corner here. Really sticky stuff. So once this is in position, well, I need to be careful here when I'm putting this on. You'll see what I mean now, because if I put it in the wrong position, the switch won't work. So hopefully I have that tape on the right side too. Okay, so we're ready to put this in. So bear with me here 2 seconds just to see the crack, see how this. And I got that on the right side, I do. Right. So when I put this into the hole, right, I'm going to put a bit of glue in the back of it here first. It's rolling everywhere. Why is that not working? That thing is stone cold and it's plugged in. Bear with me a wee minute here. Do we see what's going on with this? So I need to make sure not to get the packs mixed up. What one did I just fix? The one with the batteries. Right, so I'll fix that one on the other live stream maybe. Or I might do it before the live stream on the other model. So there is 2 models. This is model number 1, I'm calling. I'll clean up this bench and wait for this to... I think this thing's banjaxed. I think it's not working. Whatever's going on with it. It's hot. Is it that glue stick here's broke? It's always live streams that goes wrong. I don't know what's wrong with that now, but we need it working. We need it working. Hold on a minute, let's see what's going on here. It's hot, and she's not putting the stick down for it. I'm going for another one. I mightn't get this out now. It's the only problem. I'm going to have to cut it. What is wrong with that thing? Right, okay, I pulled it out. I'll put it on this way. What's the work this time? We just have to get a new one. I don't think it's heating, to be honest. But I got another stick here. The many things is going wrong today in this live stream. I don't know what's going on. Let me see. This is decided to give up now. There we go. So it's working now. Look at that now. Everything's in the middle. So it's working now. I don't know what happened there. Things just trying to test me out today. Right, I'm going to try and keep this bench clean as we go here. Right, I'm going to now support this red wire that I've talked about, the one that I've soldered onto the little Larry torch. So I'm basically just going to put a bit of glue in here underneath. Just a wee dab and around the bottom there and around there. We don't want it sitting too proud because we'll set it this way so it sort of runs with gravity. Don't want it sitting higher in that tape, okay? So I'll let that set. I'm going to glue it in. We're going to sort this power supply out too with so we don't need to use a battery pack. So we'll do that too. Now, so let me just look now. So when I plug this into here, the red wire, so this is the second. This is the second. This is the second set of jumper harnesses that I bought. So I know this is okay. I can put the positive wire onto this side and this side, but for the other battery pack, as you can see, the wires are finer and the polarity is changed. Well, it's the way they came. So I need to switch. I need to fix this one here. So I thought I had the wires on wrong on the wee PCB board this morning, but I didn't. So the glue's there to support the diffuser, to hold it in place, to hold the strip in place, to hold there's a reflector in there also. And there's the diffuser part of the little Larry torch. So that won't be used again. But just to point out, I'm waiting for this here. Just to go off. Do you see in the future, if I ever want to extend a little Larry torch, I could split this. You see here, and it's really well designed, so I can actually screw this onto the bottom of another little Larry torch, and I can use the housing for something else. So I'll keep this, and I'll keep this. I'll join this onto the next torch that I strip. Okay, so it's really, really good. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to set this glue gun aside, and we're going to fix this. We're going to put a plug on the end of this power supply so we can compare the different brightnesses of the model. And here, hopefully you can hear me there. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Sometimes the live streams mess up. So the first thing I'm going to do, we'll go back to this in a moment. Once I get this here glued to the model, we will be flying. I'll be ready for the stainless plate. I'll be ready to place the 4 feet on the bottom of the model. And I can't wait to get the plate on this because those little fish are so delicate glued to that model. So the white wire here, the white strand, is a positive pole of this wire, right? Or positive polarity. I need now shrink wrap again. We're going to fix this and then we're going to move on. Just so this is ready for when I have the model complete, which should be about a half an hour's time, I hope. So I'm going to start off here and I'm going to place one that's not too thick. So this blue one looks okay. So I will be making a Y piece. So basically I can have the two models running off the one power supply. So the little Larry torches pull, what is it, a half amp? This is 2 amp output, so I could actually run 4 of it. But I'm only going to run 2 because I only have 2. So we're going to strip this now a wee bit further than they are, just so it makes it my life easier. So the next thing I need to do now is figure out, well, I need another 2 more wee strands here, which is going to be these green ones. So rather than using the full length here again, I don't like using the full length for a reason. It makes everything too rigid. So I've got 2 of these on here, I don't know why, but I'll just keep them on, right? Better than having one. I put one on there now, I put one on before the live stream. So we're just going to cut these a wee bit longer. In fact, I'm just going to cut them clean first. And I'm just going to maybe remove about 8mm, 10mm. So this is so you can have the model plugged in all the time. And you don't have to depend on like batteries running down. But the battery pack's there if you ever need to use it. So we're going to pull this back. We're going to use this one, I think. So is that? So this is the one that's got the fat wires, so the fatter coating. So that means it's the right one. The polarity is not mixed up. So the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to place. Well, I'm going to cut these first to remove the solder came by factory, and I'm just going to strip it with my teeth instead of them. These here. Because sometimes they can dig into the strands. There we go. So we have roughly 10mm, right? And next thing I'm going to place on these here, I'm going to cut them down to about 40mm. So we'll get this finished and then we'll get the model finished, okay? And you will see the model working in hopefully half an hour's time. So, next thing I need to do here, look at that there. What's that stuff? Or where did that come from? It's okay, right. So, you see the light going up through all the fish, all the water, the princess, the parrot, the fisherman, the princess. So, where is the cable here now? So again, we're just going to get this power supply ready. So white, we need the whites. See the wee white line there in that wire? We need that to the red here, right? And what I like to do here is I like to twist them before I solder them. Nice and straight. Don't have a vise either. Perfect. Let's get a bit of tape here. Hold on. Tape it to the bench. Solder in, give it a wee shake. Where's my solder now? So I've got the shrink wrap on. It's important to have those on before you solder, of course. So the model will be looking beautiful in a moment, hopefully. So once I have that light in position, I can place double-sided tape around this base, this resin base. Then I can attach the stainless plate. The last time I had it glued with epoxy. This time I'm not doing that because in case I ever need to fix it again. So here we go. So keeping the solder nice and flat, so there's no balls or any sharp ends in it. And I'm just going to get the pliers again. That's the side cutters. Where's the pliers? And I like to give it a wee straighten, just like that. You see? And if there's a wee ball in the end of it, which there is, a wee sharp bit, just give it a wee squish. So it doesn't come through the shrink wrap. It probably won't come through it anyway, but... So we're going to heat this first. Now we're going to do the next one. So we're flying now here. So the first thing before I solder this last wire, what I want to do is make sure that the two of them the same length running off. They're not. You can see that that black one is a wee bit too tight. So what I can do here is just give it a wee pull. Pulled out of the swirl that I've created. Like that. And if it's still a wee bit too tight, just give it another pull out. Like that. And I'm going to go with that. So we're now ready to solder this one. So when I twirl these, I want them nice and flat and tight to each other. Oh, solder's away to the floor. Just let me check it before I go for it any further here. See what I mean? This here sort of manufactured in the way that they're joined together. So I just want them looking nice and straight. So the black's just a wee bit too long, so I'm just pulling it apart. And now I can solder it. So I have the flux on the wire here. It's okay. So again, I like to give it a wee squish just to straighten it. Like so. Keep them nice and level, looks better. Okay, so I'm ready now to bring up the blue parts. So what I can do is, just to sort of support those ones, I'll wait till these cool first. Making them nice and straight. So what I like to do is put a wee bit of flux on the outside to make it a wee bit slippery. And just pull this over the top, like that. And I'm just going to maybe use one there. I can just let this one lie on and cut it off here. It's a waste, I know, but if I put two up there, it might be too rigid. You know what? I'll go for it. We'll heat this one first. So this is for Donna, the girlfriend, and she can plug it into the wall now without needing to depend on batteries. So again, I'm just going to get a bit of flux. It's just because the shrink wrap's very tight to what I'm doing here. Just going to try and slap it over this one. Mightn't work. It will if I give it a wee bit more heat. We'll try it again here now when it cools. There we go, we're over the top. So that sort of strengthens everything up there. So I can move back to the model now that this is completed. I'll plug this into the torch, the little Larry lamp. and we'll see if it works first, the LEDs. So there we have it. So I'm going to put this power supply onto an extension lead on the floor here. And where's the light here? It should flicker red when I plug it in. But what I need to do first here, is make sure that this power supply is set to 4.5 volts. 5 volts will be okay too, but what's the point giving it an extra half a volt to reduce the lifetime of the torch? So this should flicker red when I plug it in. There we go. So I know that's going to work this time, so the polarity's right. So there we have it running on a power supply with that's first setting, second setting, and third setting. This will obviously, when done as usual, you probably hit it once, and they turn it off. You hit it 1, 2, 3 more times, or you can have it on low mode, or you can have it on flash red mode, Halloween mode I'm going to call it. So what I need to do now is stick this into the model in the perfect position against the little switch, the little bars that I have made there, that I've created. So as you can see, it's very footery work to be doing on the live stream here, and things can go wrong. For example, if I reach for this model here now, and just touch one of those fish, I'm going to have to start from scratch again. I'm going to have to go and fix the whole thing. So I'm going to try and take the time here. I've got the 3M tape on this little Larry lamp. We've got it all strengthened. We've got these wires soldered. We've got it in a way that this hopefully comes through nice and neat through the model at this point to the outside. Then we'll stick the mirror polish stainless plate to the model. So I hope you can hear me there, people, because I am not sure if you can hear me or not, because some of these live streams mess up at times. So we're ready to stick this on. We're going to use the tape on the side of the lamp. Then I'm going to support. I'm not going to add too much of that hot glue, but I'm going to add a bit of support around the lamp to keep it nice and tidy. You don't see it. You don't see the lamp, because the lamp, I have this designed in such a way that, when I turn it around, I have this model designed in such a way that this ledge was there initially to hide the lamp, so the light sort of protrudes this way. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So the ledge is placed onto the water, and I call the water this bit the base, with the fish underneath it. As I say, it's a wee bit dark in this room today, but there's not much I can do. So we're going to continue on here. We're going to get this stuck on now. I'll bring the camera down a wee bit closer for the interested people. So hopefully that's okay. Right, this is a part now that I need to be well careful. I'm going to remove all the electrical stuff here. We don't need none of this stuff again, and I don't want it to be in the way for the rest of this video, because we don't want nothing to go wrong here. So there's 2 things that I need to do now. I need to stick this on. I need to clean the base. I need to make sure it's nice and clean in here, which I can't really interfere with it too much, because how am I going to get around all these fins? There's already a fin missing of this fish. I was going to place one on it, but I don't have any printed. We'll just say that fish is has something wrong with it. So we need the glue gun. I've got this tape ready. Bear with me 2 seconds here. I just need this electrical stuff out of the way. Right, I'm ready to rock here. Okay, so this is the part that I need to be well careful with. So we've got the battery pack, we've got the power supply complete, and we're now going to stick this on, but I first need to get the IPA glue here. And I need to make sure my hands is obviously all grease and all flux. So I need to make sure that I'm going to put a pair of gloves on, maybe. The problem with wearing gloves is it's not, I've got that cleaned. So on here, I just need to give it a wee wipe. I'm going to get a soft cloth to do that because I don't want to use this. So hold on a minute, I get one. So we've got this microfiber rag, and I'm going to just give the model one wee touch in here, one swipe, or a couple even, to make sure there's no grease in there. And my next step now is positioning this within the model so that this switch lines up with the little bar, the little plunger that I have created on the model, okay? But before I do that, I forgot to do one thing here, and that was to put a bit of glue underneath in here, because if you can imagine, if somebody ignorant comes along here and pushes that bar too hard, they're going to bend the PCB board against the LED strip that it's directly soldered to. So here we go, I'm going to try and keep this neat. Just want a bit of glue underneath it here. Like that. Oh. It's okay. So we'll let this cool and then we'll put it into position. So that means now when they push the switch, they're pushing against the actual, the entire body that I have it all supported, rather than bending the PCB at this point, the board. I will also put a wee bit of glue on the actual, the model too, to the board at the back here. But I'll do that in a moment. So I need to go to the toilet, people, and I'm going to come back up in 2 seconds, but I need to place this on my knees, and I'm going to reposition the camera here to do this. So I'm going to be a couple of minutes here to run downstairs. So, as I say, this is going to be tricky. I'm going to place it in first, in a way that with the back end is still on the tape, just to make sure I have it lined up. I might put a bit of masking tape in as a guide, and then I'm going to glue everything and get it all put together, and then we're going to do a demonstration. Okay, so I am back. Right. We're going to put this on my knee here now. So, I'm just going to move these here. So the reason I'm going to put it on my knee, right, is because I need it up, sort of this here face. I need it sort of sitting horizontal, not like this, but horizontal, but same as the ground. So the only way to do this is to put it between my knees, because I don't want to break the parts off the model. Okay, so here we go. Just bear with me a minute. I need to get everything ready first here. So I need the hot glue gun. It's on. Is it on? It's plugged out. Right, I'll wait for that to start again. My belly's rumbling. Right. Need to get this right first time, because that tape's quite strong. I'm going to get a couple of bits of tape for a guide, right? So we're going to use this edge as a guide. That one and this one. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just cut them nice and clean as a pointer. So this is going to be my guides that when I remove the tape, okay, we're going to use these two parts. Right, I'm going to do this now, so hold on. We're going to bend this down. And I'm going to come in close. One shot. So, when I built this model, I did not think, hold on. So remember, this needs to be in position, right? Sliding this plunger into the little bar, going the whole way, right? And I need to set this in some sort of way I'm not going to break the model. And there's fish and everything connected to it at the top too. So here we go. I think you can see there. So we've got the bit of tape still on. I'm going to just lower this into where it needs to go. So I know now that that torch needs to go roughly about there. So lining this little Larry switch up to my plunger. So the best thing to do here now, as you can see, this PCB board, this PCB board is sitting tight. Well, it's not really. I think the best thing for me to do here is get the two bits of tape, right? And I can't put my fingers anywhere near those fish. So I'm just using these as a guide, right? So I know now that's where I need to have that when I take the tape off. Yeah. So this switch is operational, so it's working now. I'm operating the little Larry torch with this piece of stainless, this 3mm wire, right? So here, I'm going to go for it. I'm not going to talk too much here. So I'm just going to keep this switch tight to my plunger. I need the scalpel. Okay, so here we go, people. So remember, there's not really no square edges on this way or this way. So I can't exactly run it parallel to something, or I can't run it perpendicular to something, you know what I mean? So I'm going to lower this end in first. Remember, it's really sticky, this tape. And I'm going to keep it tight. So remember, this can go wrong, I'm not going to lie. So I'm keeping it square as I go down here. Just move the other way a wee bit that way first. And I'm using my guide. So bear with me a minute, I'm just focusing here. There we go. So that is the wee torch in position. It's not strong. It's not as strong as I would like it to be. So I'm going to support it with the hot glue. The last time I done this, as I say, I used the epoxy. So we'll save stuff that I used for the battery build. The stuff over there under. Well, on to see what I've got now beside me. I don't. So a 2-pack epoxy. This time I'm using the hot glue gun. Well, the strong adhesive, the tape. So I'm going to take this guide off. And I'm just going to push on this a wee bit more. So that probably would be strong enough. But somebody ignorant comes along and pushes this switch too hard. Or let's say moisture gets in there after so many months or whatever, underneath the tape, it may let go. So I'm just going to add a bit of hot glue hot glue from that gun to support it. And I'm also going to place a bit here at the corner. So if I bring this up close now, right, you will see that here, listen. Do you see the way the little plunger that I have centralized in to the center of the O in this love? It's working. So basically, that bit of stainless is doing what that did in the little Larry torch. So a lot of thought went into this, as you can see. So I have this torch now sitting, looking good. I'm not going to get it any better. I can move it a wee bit still, because the tape sort of shifts. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the hot glue gun and I'm just going to support it. Maybe a wee bit here, a wee bit here, and a wee bit at the back. Obviously, I'm going to be gluing to the diffuser. Look, my trousers are pulling with the fish at the other side. So how long do we see here? We'll bring it up a wee bit. So away we go. We've got this industrial grade glue gun. Okay, so obviously I've only got one hand to work with here, because I need to hold on to this. So we're going to put a bit on here first. Now, you know what? See, you can't see if I do that, so I have to do this. Right, I want these as neat as possible. Now bring this down closer, maybe. I think you can see here. Right. I'm going to put a wee bit the end of the torch here. This hot bit here, and watch the princess, and watch the fishing rod. This here, what is the temperature it's at? It's quite hot. So I don't want to put that near the resin, because I don't want to interfere with it. To break this, it's very delicate, as you can see. So away we go here. I'm just going to push it down tight with my thumb. I'm going to close in the stand. And we're just going to put a bit of glue on here. I'm just going to pull away gently, because I don't want the hot glue going over the rest of the resin model. So that's one blob on, nice and neat. You can see how clear it is. And I'm going to put a bit over here, and then I'm going to support the back, and then the switch. Not too much, I'm going to keep it nice and clean, like that. So bear with me here, it's flittery. I'm trying to get my fingers in the right place. If I drop this model on the ground, it's destroyed. So again, we're going to do on here this time. I'm going to try and get it in view here and I'm at it. Remember, I don't want to put my finger near those fish. The fish are glued with epoxy. I think this has stopped working again. I think there's a stat on this that goes off and on. It's working there now again, isn't it? It's a good glue gun, but it's messed about today. And we're taking it away when it's hot, so it runs smooth, right? That bead, I'm just going to catch it in my trousers. There we have it. See how neat it is? That's the way I want it. So I'm not going to place none in the middle, right? But I am going to place some at the back. We're going to turn these wires into the hole too, of course. But for now, I have to focus on gluing this to make it a wee bit stronger. So I'm just going to put a wee bit here at the back. Just here, look. I'm just going to pull it away and catch it in my trousers again. So I need to have it below. I need to have it below this face, because there's a stainless plate going on here in a minute. So even though you don't see this, I want it nice and neat. So a wee bit in the back here now. Try not to touch the bottle with the nozzle. There we have it. I'm going to pull it away again, try to catch it in my trousers. There, people, it's like a wee neat weld. One more bit there required. Not really, but I'm going to do it anyway. So before I put this thing together, I need to be sure that there's no dust on here. If there's a wee bit, not matter, because who's going to be looking at it? Right, now one final bit of glue here in the corner, right? Sorry, right there. I'm trying to get this into view. That's never coming off there. I'm going to take this away gently. I'm going to catch it again. Right, so that is all the hot glue gun. Well, 2 wires now. So just going to let this cool down. We're going to let it cool down there, right? And you can see the bit there, a bit there, a bit down there, and a bit there. We've got this PCB board also strengthened. So listen now. I'll go to the mic. It's operating the actual switch on the board, the PCB board. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set this up on the bench. Bear with me a wee minute. And I'm going to get a drink of water here. So the next stage now, the final stage, is putting the stainless base on the bottom of it to finish it off. But I also need to support these wires because if you get somebody ignorant again, I'm going to turn the soldering off here. If you get somebody ignorant again and they start wagging on these wires against the power supply or against the using the battery pack, we don't want to pull the wires out of the board. They won't come out anyway because they're well soldered, but they could damage, everything really. So the next step here now, I'm going to do it right now because I have to glue the wires. So the stainless plate. So this stainless plate now needs to go on this, but first things first, I'm just going to glue the wires first to get them out of the way here. So we're going to glue the wires first here because I'll turn this back on. So I'm trying not to wreck the model here as it sits on my legs, my knees. And we're just going to glue these into position too. We want them as long as possible, but we also don't want the wires looking messy in here. So we're going to keep the wires nice and neat. We're going to keep the wires nice and neat, right? Try. That looks okay, doesn't it? Looks not too bad. So I need them wires now sitting flush to the bottom. So what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to put the glue in as fast as possible, and then I'm going to squish the wires in. So I'll get it nice and hot first. The hotter the better for doing this. And I'm going to keep the glue to the back here. Pushing down on them, not too hard because I wreck the model. And I'm going to take that bit of glue off. It's lying strung across there. I need the scalpel. So I just want to remove that wee bit of wire there. Okay, so that's it, everyone. So my next step now, that's them glued, right? But what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add a wee bit more at the back of them. Now that it's in position. We don't want them pulling out. So we've got the hot glue gun ready again. We've got glue over the side of it. It'll come off when it cools. So we're just going to put a wee bit at the side of the wires here. Okay, so that's it. Just going to tighten it up a wee bit. Pulling off the wee frayed bits. Should have waited to cool down first, but maybe me as usual. Okay everyone, so I'm going to change my mind here. To do that, I'm going to be using epoxy. Just take off this stuff again. I want to use epoxy to do that instead. So I've got it sitting here anyway. It's just much stronger than that. We'll get the epoxy instead. Here, bear with me a minute. I'll put her up on the bench. Just wasted a nozzle doing this, but it's alright. Epoxy is much stronger, you know. Making sure it's mixed here. It's hard because it's cold. Okay, so we're going to use epoxy for them 2 wires instead there. Ooh, taking longer than I thought. I see. So see that little groove that I have cut there? I'm just going to fold up. I'm going to make sure all the hot glue's off it first. I'm not going to fold up, I'm going to put a wee bit on it. There we go. So I'm just going to keep it to the back there, right? And I need a bit of tape this time to hold the wires down. So that's them. Just making sure they're well pushed in here. What I could do is I can use the end of the scalpel. And yeah, so I have to let this set now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get some date, and then I'm going to come back and finish this on another live stream. So we'll set this up. So there we have it, people. There's the little jumper harness coming out the back of the model. So I'm just going to go and get some date, and then I'm going to come back. Okay, so thanks for watching. The next live stream we'll finish this model and you'll see it working. Bye.